The Steelers ready here for the kickoff.
Hello, and welcome to my 2016 NFL.
So that means Niall Davis will be back for the opening kick.
So, alright, before we start, this is my 5th mock draft I've recorded. I keep changing it. I keep having different thoughts about certain players and just my overall idea on them. So, we'll see how this turns out.
And with that kick, we're underway.
There's a couple picks on here that I'm,
Touchback now as the ball comes out to the 20. At quarterback, he was the first overall selection in the 2005 draft out of the University of Utah. Quarterback Alex.
I don't know. Let's just get into it.
Alex Smith, he shut up all the
starting with the first overall
year
pick.
he had.
The Los Angeles Rams will select
turns the football very
Jared Goff,
runs around a lot
quarterback,
people think.
University of Cal Berkeley. This pick is almost 100% guaranteed. LA needs a quarterback. It's just the idea of who. I've heard they like Jared Goff a lot more than Carson Wentz. And I agree. Not a lot more, but I think I agree. I do think that Jared Goff is the overall better prospect as of right now. Carson Wentz has got to sit on a bench for a couple of seasons, at least a season, to learn everything he needs to learn to play quarterback properly. Although he's very smart, he just needs to sit and learn how to play NFL quarterback and adapt to the speed of the game. With the second pick in 2016 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles will select Carson Wentz, quarterback, North Dakota State University.
Oh, man, you talk about making your tight gym.
Again, back to my LA.
And you have bad field position.
This pick is almost
really
guaranteed
hard
at this
to execute.
point.
Let it go when you're backed
It's
up.
all about what they prefer. I think Carson Wentz would be a better fit in Philadelphia. Bigger hands. It's a cold city. It's a cold state overall. So it will help hold on to the ball once it starts to get a bit harder during the cold weather. And believe me, footballs get hard in the cold weather. They're kind of bits to catch once it starts getting cold outside.
Makes the catch in open space.
So I think his bigger hands will
Every
help
quarterback in the NFL loves
and all
this
those
coverage
things
where you
that will
got
be
4
coming down
defensive
during
backs
the game.
all playing deep.
So I think he's a better fit in Philadelphia. And overall, although I've been hearing Sam Bradford wants to be traded, he will be the starter for at least one season. It's just the fact that they're going to be grooming a young quarterback behind him. So, with the third pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers will select Laramie Tunsil, offensive tackle, Ole Miss. I'm seeing a lot of mock drafters say that this pick is less likely because maybe San Diego doesn't like Laramie Tunsil. They already spent a lot of money on their offensive tackle. That's all a sack of shit. Okay, San Diego's offensive line was terrible last year. Injuries or not, their offensive line hasn't been good. Doesn't matter who they sign. They maybe have one guy on that roster right now that's a starter. And that's DJ Faulkner. So, I think that they need to draft this guy. He's the best tackle in this class, maybe the best tackle since I don't even know. God, who was the best last good offensive tackle that went like top 10 that actually panned out and played well? I can't think of anyone. But he's better than all of them. He's better than Eric Fisher and Luke Jokel. We'll leave it at that. Next, with the 4th overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys will select Jalen Ramsey, defensive back, Florida State.
Following the long play.
Although this might not be Dallas' biggest need, I think it should be.
Jones is all over
the NFC East is a passing the win.
Good job by the defense.
As Kirk Cousins
on first down
is developing into a good quarterback. Sam Bradford and or Carson Wentz will be quarterbacks that will throw the ball quite a bit. Carson Wentz, when he starts, he will throw the ball. quite a bit. And Eli Manning, he has Odell Beckham. They need to find a way to stop these guys. And it's either going to be pass rush and Joey Bosa, or it's going to be defensive back and Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey is the better pick. He can play any position in the back.
Offense today, one of the
nickel corner,
running backs the league has ever known. Jamal Charles.
Safety.
He's quick, he's fast.
He could play them all. He can play man coverage, he can play zone coverage.
What can you say about
the only knock on him is he might not be the
just
greatest corner because his off-man coverage is a bit weak. But he is the pick for Dallas because he's the best overall player for them in this situation. They get a cornerback as Orlando Sanders is getting older, and as is Brandon Carr, both of whom Sandrick has played well, but Carr hasn't really played as well as he should have. He has been
but that is a really nice job.
Disappointing to say the least.
The offense, the quarterback, they pick up the first down. That'll get you going.
So I think Jalen Ramsey can replace them. Him and Byron Jones will be a foursome, a fearsome foursome. There'll be a foursome,
Number 6
guys.
coming up on this drive.
No, there'll be a fearsome combination in the NFC East, and they'll make Dallas an even better
the secondary. They'll go nickel. The Chiefs snap it up at the 26.
With the 5th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars will select Jalen Ramsey,
Good to have these types of
linebacker, UCLA.
But it sends a message.
My reasoning.
It shows everybody that you can run it when you want to, and also it opens up so many other
Paul
things.
Posluszny's getting older. I think he's going to be turning 32, 33. They need to find some youth on that roster. Although Telvin Smith and Dan are good, they need to find another guy on the interior. Miles Jack is, in my opinion, the best player in this draft. I think he'll fall past the #1 overall pick, mostly because of his knee injury. He won't be able to practice for a little while, and he probably won't be able to play a preseason game if he's still recovering.
And you're watching the
But
NFL on
all those things
EA
being said, he
Sports.
is the best player in this class.
The NFL
And
on EA
I think
Sports
he would
is
be
brought
a
to you
day
by
one starter
Gatorade. Win from
in
within.
The Chiefs on offense here to start the second
Gus
quarter.
Bradley's team, his defense. He'd be a day one starter, and he would be he'd be a big upgrade over Paul Posluszny. He's starting to decline. With the 6th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft,
They're able to move the chains
Baltimore
after that
Ravens will
last run.
select Joey Bosa, defensive lineman, the Ohio State University.
And the second
With-
quarter is underway with this snap.
So,
And this goes incomplete as he was looking over the middle.
with Terrell Suggs getting
What
older,
you expect in the NFL nowadays from the players, especially these receivers.
I'm not
They're
feeling
so
it. I wanna
aggressive,
do this
so
now, so I
athletic. They
forget
go
to.
all out for every catch.
So,
That time,
with Terrell Suggs getting older, they need to find
not
another
able to
pass
make the
rusher
catch.
in the AFC
I'll give
North.
him an A for
It
effort.
has 2 of the best quarterbacks and a potential high draft pick coming in either this year or next year.
Carries the football.
But Andy Dalton and Ben Roethlisberger, 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. One of whom is a top 5 quarterback.
Is lose yardage
Because
on
that's
a
who.
run play. They do at that time on second down.
And although
Now they have 3rd and long. And
they need corners also, I think pass rush is a bigger need.
Things can work on 3rd and long.
As they already have a guy who just solidified himself as a solid #1 corner, and they have Ladarius who can play either corner or safety. I think he's going to
Mounting
play
a
safety. this
serious
time.
drive.
So Joey Bosa would step in, be a day one
The
starter on
Steelers
the
will
opposite
come out in
side
the dime.
of Timmy Jernigan, I think, is their other defensive end.
Smith takes it from the gun.
So those two could be a bit of a force.
That picks up 11.
With the 7th pick in the
It's 3rd and long.
2016
Nobody
NFL
opened down
Draft,
the field, so the quarterback does the only thing he can do. Throw it
San
short.
Francisco 49ers will select DeForest Buckner, defensive lineman, Oregon.
Should be
That's
what we
really
call
that word right there at the end. Oregon should be the only reason I have to say this pick. It's a Chip Kelly team. He loves his Oregon guys. He's gonna find a way to make this guy
He converts here
work.
on the field goal
He's an
drive.
extremely talented player. He may be the best defensive lineman in
They've
this
taken
class,
the lead
but
in that field goal with the second quarter just getting
I think
going.
that not only is he may be, but I think Bosa is the better prospect, but Buckner is extremely
but
good.
they
Also,
overcame the
he's gonna step into
got
Chip
3
Kelly's
points.
system. He's gonna know exactly what he's gonna have to do. and he's going to start day one, probably on the opposite side of Arik Armstead, or inside at defensive tackle. With the 8th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will select Vernon Hargreaves, defensive back.
The Steelers set to return the kick.
Although this team has a lot of needs, and trading back is probably what they're going to do this season with this pick. I think that if they're going to take someone, they have to work on the defense. The offense is going to be bad no matter what they do. The offense is going to be the worst unit in the NFL no matter what. Drafting Ezekiel Elliott won't fix it, but drafting a corner who can be a number one shutdown guy can help that defense. Although, again, they have holes everywhere. And Cleveland
Steelers are going to line up.
Close be more stable and really need
3-0. The Chiefs
Cleveland just
now
needs to
loading
be
up,
a better organization
with a dime defense. First down
and
at
I think
the 20.
Mike Pettin was a talented overall player. They really need to find a guy who they can put the franchise, put the franchise on his shoulders. Put the shoulders on.
You got to be in a situation where the defense is thinking run, and when
I think Hugh Jackson could be that guy.
Or I should say the smarts to fake the run.
So I think they really do need to trust Hugh Jackson, trust the process.
Bell
Shout to
takes
my boys
his spot in the backfield. First down at the 33.
So I just think overall they really do need to trust the process and find guys who can contribute. The offense isn't the answer right now, or the question for that matter. The offense can come. They will have the #1 pick next year, no doubt. They will be the worst team in football. I've seen things saying they won't win any game. I'll give them one. I'll give them one game. But
following the 2-minute warning, we've got a
I mean, they're not going to be good.
The lead as we head towards halftime.
And I think they need to find playmakers on defense first and then work on the offense later. I think Vernon Hargreaves is the best fit for them. Next, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will select Leonard Floyd, defensive end, outside linebacker, Georgia. I see him more as an outside linebacker. I'll just say it now. But
Roethlisberger's got it in the gun.
Robert Ayers, I believe, and William Golson on the roster currently. They have two defensive ends they can trust for now. And I had Ronnie Stanley here for a little while, but I think that finding an outside linebacker who can rush the passer, play coverage, is very athletic, all of those things is a much bigger help.
Stops the clock.
And again, I know it kind of sounds dumb because
3 for 3 with that completion.
The second most, if not the most important position in the NFL. I think their offensive line can be addressed at a later time. There's a lot of offensive tackles in this class. Jason Spriggs, Willie Beaver.
Only 8 yards to go.
Freely, or whatever his name is. There are guys like that who can be starters.
Let's see how they back
on
up the big play here.
Round 2 and maybe even 3.
Roethlisberger's going to take the snap from the shotgun. Has it. Touchdown.
That was beautiful. So, with 10th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft.
Nice.
2016 NFL Draft.
Put it right on the money. Not a big window.
The New York Giants will select Ronnie Stanley.
Football. Put it right in there.
Offensive tackle, Notre Dame. With Will Beatty gone, or just not playing. I don't know.
Potential touchdown.
But whatever, I don't really care. With him out the door, the only offensive tackle they have that starting capability is Ereck Flowers. They need to find a guy who can be either the left or right tackle. Ronnie Stanley is the second best tackle in this class. Some people have him as the best tackle in this class. But I think he'd step in, be a day one starter on the blind side of Eli Manning as Ereck Flowers mans the right side. And Eli Manning will actually be able to, throw the ball without worrying about getting whacked in the spine. So, with the 11th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft,
the Steelers getting set
the Chicago Bears will select Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle, Louisville.
Driving extra point is
Chicago drafted Stephen Paella a couple years ago.
The Chiefs
man the interior.
Not much time
didn't pan
in the
out.
first half, where they're now on the losing end of things.
Did really well at the combine, but he wasn't a great player. They need to find a guy who's a great player. Sheldon Rankins is a soft-spoken guy on and off the field who is a great player on the field. He's not going to cause trouble for your franchise, and he's extremely talented. He can rush the pass, he can play the run, he can do it all. So, I think Sheldon Rankins is the best fit for them.
The Chiefs are anxious to return
With
the kickoff.
12th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints will select
And he'll start his return.
Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver, Ole Miss.
Tackle right at the 30-yard line after that
With
return.
the loss of Marquise Colston. This team needs to find a number one wide receiver.
Out there
Brandon Cooks is very talented, but he's not a guy you can trust in the red zone.
And maybe it has something to do with the fact that
although this team has needs on defense, again, they can address it at a later time.
I think it's everything to do with why they're behind this game so far here today, Jim. And listen, the coach
they have no one who can be a consistent red zone target now that Marquise Colston is gone. They need to find a big guy on the outside who can be a game breaker and a game changer inside the 20. Laquan Treadwell is the best receiver in this class, although he has speed
the
concerns.
Chiefs will take the snap from
I think you can wash that away because he has some
the reception by Charles. And bringing him down is Lawrence Timmons. So they complete that
with
yet
13th pick
second down.
2016 NFL Draft.
If you think you get a
Miami Dolphins will select Ezekiel Elliott,
go with a hurry up
running back, the Ohio State
and the quarterback.
With Lamar Miller at the door, JJ, may or may not be a starter. They need to find a guy who could be a great running back. Zeke Elliott may be the best running back prospect since Adrian Peterson.
It is 3rd and 3.
So they need to find a guy like Zeke Elliott who can be a starter. Adam Gase will find a way to use him. He's not going to be Joe Philbin and not use his talented running back. Adam Gase is a smart guy. He knows what he's doing.
And you're trying to score some points at the
end of the first half. Personally,
way to do it when
Adam Gase will help this Miami team realize its potential.
Make the defense.
I think it all starts with finding a bell cow running back to take
what they're doing.
Pressure
maybe
off
you
of
can get
Ryan
some quick
Tannehill.
yards and get a chance for some points.
With the 14th pick in the 2016
on the gun. He's got the catch. Wilson's
the Oakland Raiders will select Jarian Reed, defensive tackle, Alabama.
Wilson's in a whole lot of pain right now. We'll take an injury timeout and be back in just a moment.
Well, maybe not.
We'll head back to the field now.
All right, so
Bellini is working to get
Jarian
us an
Reed.
update on
They need to find a guy in the
as soon as
interior who can
possible.
be just a difference maker. Jarian Reed may be the best defensive tackle in this class. I don't really know. I prefer, Sheldon Rankins and Ashawn Robinson, but I've heard that Oakland really likes Jarian Reed, and they need an interior presence with Khalil Mack and Mario Edwards on the outside. They really do need to find a guy in the interior who could be a difference maker. Jarian Reed may be the best defensive tackle in this class.
Smith's got no one behind him, just a quarterback waiting for the snap.
I think 2 picks, maybe 1.
The Chiefs from the 37. Finds his mark. That's a gain of 7.
Sorry, I
the
made a
Chiefs
mistake.
decide
I completely
to
forgot to put Eli Apple on the line.
leaving them with only 1.
I'm trying to see maybe if there's somewhere I can fit him in by replacing him, but I think Oakland was the
Offense ready for action coming out of their timeout.
I think he's a better corner than Eli Apple. So I'm going to have Eli Apple fall out of the first round. And it's not very surprising. He's raw. He's young, raw, and overall doesn't have the, he's prone to penalties. He holds people, and overall he's not a great tackler. So I can see why he'd fall out of first round.
At the 30-yard line.
But yeah, I'm just going to stick with it. Screw it. Next, with the 15th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft,
the Chiefs will
Tennessee Titans will select
Cameron Hayward takes
Jack Conklin, offensive tackle.
That's an excellent job by the defense. Just gets quick penetration in there, hits the quarterback.
Everyone thought that Tennessee would take,
keeps moving. What a
Larry
job by the
Tunsil
defense in this
#1.
situation.
Since they traded out, they don't have that opportunity anymore, but they have an opportunity to take a big mauler at offensive tackle. Although I don't see Jack Conklin as a left tackle. That's fine, as Taylor Lewan will continue to be a force on the left side once he gets more used to it. Taylor Lewan is a very good tackle. He's a big guy. He can play to run. He can block for passing. They just have to give him a bit more time. Jack Conklin on the opposite side is the same guy. They're the same way. Big, nasty guy who you know is going to be great in the run and can be great in the pass game once he develops.
The offense heads to the line for the 7th play of the
drive.
drive.
With the 16th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions will select Robert Kimby, defensive tackle, Ole Miss. I know a lot of people say that Kimby isn't, worthy of a first-round pick.
I think that's plain.
Maybe he's not
throwing a short pass on 3rd and long.
I disagree.
He had a chance to throw it down the field.
Although he has those off-the-field concerns,
let it go.
I feel like that might have been because of the people around him, maybe. Now, I'm not defending the fact that he was dumb and he did stupid things. I'm defending the idea that he may or may not have been, influenced to do these things by someone who just, wanted him to.
The kick it's through there. The kick is
I've heard his older brother was a terrible influence on him at Ole Miss.
That field goal
always
gives this team a little boost of confidence as
I read an article on ESPN.
I think these players
Kimby seems like a great guy. He seems like
really
a very
good
soft-spoken,
about what they've done
nice
here in
guy.
the first half, keeping this game close like it is.
I think that he is worthy of a first-round pick. He has all the talent you want in a defensive tackle. I think he's worthy of a first-round pick. I think Detroit will take a chance on a guy who, although may have some issues, is maybe the best defensive tackle in this class without his off-the-field issues. With the 17th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons will select Shaq Lawson, defensive end, Clemson.
No return this time as he
Last year they took Vic Beasley in the top 10, top 15.
The Chiefs defense, where was
and it was a great pick. Shaq Lawson at 17 will be not an even better pick, will be just as good of a pick. As although Vic Beasley is an overall better, more athletic player, Shaq Lawson is no slouch. And those two on both sides will be quite an issue for offensive tackles in the NFC South, especially in Carolina, as those offensive tackles have not played well. But that's really that. I think that Shaq Lawson be a perfect fit in there.
An extra tight end on the field for this one.
I think he'd be a day one starter, and
Gaines is the one who brings him to the ground.
Right?
Well, you can't knock them all down. And
with
running
the 18th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts.
Neither offense able to
Taylor Decker, offensive tackle.
That saw two defenses matching each other step for step. Larry Ridley coming up next to break down this first half.
Although,
thanks, Jim. I'm Larry Ridley, and welcome to
a lot
the
of
EA
teams think
Sports
that
Halftime Report. Both the Steelers.
How can you say that?
Not have the best success
That's dumb.
Football.
You're dumb.
It's a
if you think that defense is a
these
bigger need than
defenses have
protecting
mostly been
Andrew Luck.
able to contain.
Andrew Luck's their moneymaker. He's going to be the guy that wins them games.
Some of the highlights from the first half.
And they need to keep him upright. They didn't do that last year. They were terrible.
Got the catch here
Not
on the
terrible,
quick pass,
but
and it's gonna
they were pretty bad at some point.
of 17.
The offense needs to be
Later on the
better.
drive, pass will be completed over the middle, and that connection will lead.
The offensive line needs to be better. Although Anthony Costanzo, I think, is still a solid left tackle, they need to find a guy on the opposite side. If Jack Newhart is, maybe the best player on that offensive line, they need to find a right tackle. Taylor Decker is a right tackle who can start day one and eventually move to left tackle because he is athletic, powerful, all those things. With the 19th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills will select Kevin Dodd, defensive end, Clemson. First, Rex Ryan's son.
Ready here for the kickoff.
So he knows all of these guys personally.
Underway.
He goes to Clemson games quite a bit.
That'll
they
be
make
a
big deal
touchback,
about it
and the
when he goes
ball
to
will be
Clemson
placed
games.
at the 20.
So
The Chiefs defense had
I think that he knows these guys personally, and I think he'll know that Kevin Dodge can be a day one starter.
Well, they got manhandled. They got beat up. They got
and
pushed around. I mean,
again, he knows the guy. He knows what he's capable of. Knows him personally, and I think that he'll step right in and be a day one starter to replace Mario Williams. With the 20th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the New York Jets will select Reggie Ragland, linebacker, Alabama.
Roethlisberger's setting up now in the pistol. And now here's the first snap
with
of the second half.
Demario Davis leaving for Cleveland.
And long. The ball is jarred loose.
That would be smexy. With Demario Davis leaving for
so many times
Cleveland.
Football in the NFL, a pass like that, it's because of lack of concentration. You're just not
whoever
serious about what you're doing.
I can't remember his name, but he's like 32. He's going to be turning 33. They need to find a young guy in the interior. And Reggie Ragland is the best inside linebacker in this class. And again, he's going to stay on the inside. He's going to hit. He's going to make a lot of tackles. He can rush the passer. You can put him on blitz patterns. Although he's not very athletic and he's not the greatest in man coverage, he knows what he's doing in zone. He's smart. He comes from Alabama, a team with a pedigree. And he's going to know what he's doing day one. And he's going to fit in very well in New York.
Miller's tackled down after a gain of 10.
With the 21st pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select
That's what you want to do. Get a first down while you're on top.
Tackle,
and keep that clock moving and just control
the loss of Terrence Knight.
Good job by the offense.
Interior presence.
So far here today.
A'Shawn Robinson is extremely good. He's one of the better defensive tackles. I have him ranked as my number 2 tackle, I believe, behind Rankins. No, number 3 behind Rankins.
Bell's handed the football.
The only reason I have Reed going above him is that I've heard Oakland really likes Jalen Reed. So there's that. But I think he'd step in to Washington, be a day one starter,
he's in the NFL
and replace Terrence Knight on the interior.
This guy can break tackles. Good job on that play.
With the 22nd pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans will select Emmanuel Ogbah, defensive end, Oklahoma State. J.J. Watt is the best defensive player in the NFL.
That nice run.
But they need to find a pass rusher on the opposite side.
Up in the nickel.
Emmanuel Ogbah, although isn't the greatest pass rusher, he has the collegiate stats. And although a lot of teams see him as a second-round pick, I personally think he is a first-round prospect. He has the talent, he has the stats. There's just a couple things holding him back from being, one of the top-rated guys. But I think he is worth a high pick because he has that talent.
The offense, nice job picking up that first down. Keep the clock up. Keep the pace of the game on your side.
With the 23rd pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Josh Doctson, wide receiver, TCU.
First down here after the completion. Roethlisberger.
Besides Stephon Diggs, this team has no one left on their roster who can be a legitimate threat at wide receiver. And Josh Doctson is the biggest big play receiver in this class. He has speed, he has height, he has great hands. I think the only reason I have Treadwell ranked above him is because Treadwell is a much more well-rounded player. Treadwell has, almost everything. He's a good route runner. Doctson, not so much. I think Doctson needs a lot of work as a route runner. Speed, Doctson has him beat, but I think Treadwell beats him with his hands, his ball skills, all of that.
The deep ball, and they can't connect.
So that's why I have Treadwell
ruled today's game.
Next,
the defense is dominating, and I'm going to be honest, it's fun to watch.
24th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Corey Coleman, wide receiver, Baylor. The Bengals have one receiver on their roster who is, other than A.J. Green, who could be a starter, in Brandon LaFell. But I don't think Brandon LaFell really should be,
in the backfield.
Should be starting for this team. So I think Corey Coleman is a perfect fit for them. And although Corey Coleman may be a bit undersized, you've seen guys who are undersized have incredible success in the NFL, like Antonio Brown. Although I don't think Corey Coleman is anywhere near as talented as Antonio Brown is.
When there's a pass thrown,
I think that there are things that Corey Coleman can do that can make him a starter and a consistent, solid receiver.
And that's what it takes
and a
to be a winning football team.
Roethlisberger.
He'll take some pressure off A.J. Green.
70% on the day.
He'll play the slot. He could play outside. He has the speed. And although he's not a good route runner yet, I think that he can develop into one. With the 25th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers will select Kendall Fuller, defensive back, Virginia Tech. This is what I was thinking about Swift. I think Kendall Fuller is a better defensive back cornerback than Eli Apple. He's talented, he has stats, he has all of those things. It's just he's coming off a nasty leg injury.
The defense got to be.
I think Pittsburgh will wipe all that away and get who some people think was a top 10 pick before a leg injury and have a day one starter, hopefully.
Roethlisberger's going to slide and avoid the hit.
With
it's not as easy as it
the
looks.
26th pick in the
Good job of sliding
2016
before he
NFL
takes the hit
Draft.
that time. First down by the
Seattle
offense
Seahawks will
inside the red
select
zone. Can the
LaRaven
defense
Clark,
show him something different here.
offensive tackle,
A touchdown.
Texas Tech. With Russell Okung out the door, this team needs to find someone to replace
for the ninth play of the drive.
Although LaRaven Clark isn't the most polished prospect right now, he can play left tackle day one. He has talent, he has athleticism. I think he has a couple more issues, you know, and maybe run blocking and stuff like that. That can be fixed, but he's talented, he's athletic, he can really play any position on that offensive line, except for maybe center. I think he'd be a perfect fit.
Which of these defenses will crack first? We'll
With
be back after this.
27th, pick in the 2016 NFL Draft.
Heading to the fourth quarter, and Phil Simms, these offenses
The Green Bay Packers
in
will
check so far. Do you expect
Andrew
that to
Billings.
continue?
Oh, absolutely. We've seen so much here so far. In other words,
With B.J. Raji taking a hiatus, I say that with air quotes because there's a strong chance he
turn things
he
around.
burns out when he comes back to the NFL. He'll be out of shape and all those things.
Play is the one that's going to win this game.
I think Andrew Billings will be a perfect replacement for him. So that's really all I should have to say, right? No, but Andrew Billings, although he's young, is extremely talented and extremely good.
With the sack.
You got to be
That's
quick
all I am
and
gonna
decisive when you're down near the goal line and you're throwing the passes.
With the 28th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, Kansas City Chiefs will select Cody Whitehair, offensive lineman, Kansas State. This may surprise a couple people. I've had, Will Fuller here for a little while, but I think that finding a starting offensive lineman at any position, he is the most versatile guy in this draft when it comes to offensive line.
Failed to pick up the first.
He's extremely talented. He can play tackle, he can play guard, he can play center. Kansas City needs to find a starter at guard. That's where I see Cody Whitehair starting day one. I think he'd be a perfect fit in Kansas City. I've seen a lot of people say Paxton Lynch here, but I doubt that. I don't have to say, I doubt it. With the 29th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals will select Darren Lee, linebacker, the Ohio State University.
Away from the ball, there's a flag down on the field.
Oh, what is this about?
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker.
No. They just gave him a first down.
Personal foul.
That's
late hit on
hilarious.
the kicker, and that will be a 15-yarder.
Jim, it's
Arizona will
inexcusable.
select Darren Lee,
How can
linebacker D,
you
Ohio
kicker
State
in a
University.
situation like this? Football
Dwight
teams
Freeney and
practice
Jason
this
Babin are
every
their
single
outside
day.
linebackers.
That's what they work on from the start
Both
of
of whom
training camp.
are extremely
Such a big
old.
mistake.
They need to find a guy who can be
What
a
a
young
drive this has
infusion
been.
of youth. On the opposite side, I believe there's going to be starting Emmanuel Ancho, who hasn't shown that he can
really become a factor here,
a
and the
consistent
defense
NFL
knows
starter.
it has to get off.
So
the field
we will
as soon
see,
as possible
but I
to
think
give
that
the team
Darren
a
Lee
chance.
will start day one over Jason Babin and Dwight Freeney. I think he's a much more talented player.
Punch this in the end zone and get that.
And I think he projects more as an outside than an inside linebacker. With the 30th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers will select William Jackson III, defensive back, Houston. With Josh Norman out the door, this team needs to find a replacement. Although William Jackson may not be as talented, he is
We're back. Only 2
just
minutes
as,
remain in this
you
one.
know, I think he'd work just as well. He's a big, lengthy cornerback who can start from day one. Although he may be a little raw, he has all the stuff you want in a starting cornerback. And I think that he is a perfect fit in Carolina to replace Josh Norman.
Marching down the field and taking their time.
With the 31st pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the defending champion Super Bowl Broncos will select Paxton Lynch, quarterback, Memphis.
Into the end zone.
That pick's pretty obvious, but they're coming into the season with Mark Sanchez as their starting quarterback. So unless they can make a deal for someone to really like Colin Kaepernick or sign, Brian Hoyer, who they really like as a starter.
But they're not able to stop.
This pick is almost guaranteed.
By the offensive line.
Paxton Lynch is extremely talented, and although I think they're going to make a huge mistake starting him day one, as I think he will be raw coming into the season and will have a terrible rookie
with the
season,
PAT to come.
they need a quarterback. Paxton Lynch is extremely talented, has all the athletic ability you want in a starting quarterback, and a guy, you know, a modern NFL quarterback.
The Steelers were very effective on that scoring drive.
It's pretty much obvious that Denver's going to try and have
over 50 passing yards on that scoring drive.
So, that being said, some notable players dropping out of the first round. Derrick Henry, I know a lot of people think that, you know, he will be a second-round pick. I think it could be a little surprising to some people that the Heisman winner isn't a first-round pick and isn't even the first running back off the board.
The Chiefs are anxious to return.
Running back isn't a premium position anymore, and Zeke Elliott's much better.
And no return here.
At wide receiver, Will Fuller dropping out of the first round.
Smith's got the game
I mean,
in his hands right
overall,
here
Will Fuller is extremely talented. I just think that the need for wide receiver
make
in some of
something
these
happen
teams,
here right
it ends at Kansas City in my mind.
Hey,
Kansas City could be in the running for a wide receiver, but I think they have a couple bigger needs on the offensive line.
There's going to be opportunities out there,
and a couple
and I'll be
needs
very
on
surprised
defense,
if he doesn't get it done.
Backfield. Other than Marcus Peters, they don't have much. So, I think it's a waste of a pick for them to take Will Fuller.
First down, pressure on every snap now.
I'm pretty content with my offensive lineman. I know some people think Jason Spriggs is a tackle. I think he's a high second-round pick.
And the defense is trying to preserve a victory.
I think he's a high second-round pick. I think he's extremely talented. It's just that
you want to put all the
I think the huge need for tackle ends in Seattle, and I think the Ravens Clark overall is better.
Coverage. It takes perfect throws to get completions. Not there, that's it.
Defensive, lineman, I guess. Noah Spence. I don't like the guy. Although he's extremely talented, he has all those off-the-field issues.
The Steelers defense
kind of a piece of
is going to go nickel.
There's a momentum killer right there. The flag comes
out. I think we have
smart.
a start.
Boy, coaches,
I think he's not worth taking
so much.
A high pick
before the snap of the ball.
Second, maybe even third round.
And the biggest one of all is the false start.
Linebackers, maybe Jalen Smith. Sorry, I thought I had something at my goal.
Every play is huge now. Second down on the way. Smith's alone in the backfield.
But some people can see Jalen Smith falling out.
Second and long.
I think it's pretty much obvious that Jalen Smith is going to be a first-round pick. The guy may never play football ever.
Well, in a situation like this, third and long, there's only a few things you
that's
can
a
do.
big enough
Screens always
problem as it
are
is.
good and safe.
So,
Draw plays are
that, and he won't even play his rookie season.
But if you're going to throw it, most of the time you throw it short.
Defensive backs, I
They
have
catch it
two,
and make a run.
Mackenzie Alexander
The
and
Chiefs
Eli
set
Apple.
at the line.
Eli Apple,
They get
extremely
into the
talented,
30
but
first. Alex
I could actually
Smith's
see
gonna take
him
it
going
from
to
the shotgun.
Carolina. That's why I was thinking about switching.
This would be ruled incomplete.
But
get the feet down.
Sometimes
again,
when you have a lead, your defense is on the field.
I'm content with what I
Just
got.
want
I
one
think
of your
that Eli
guys to
Apple's
come
talented.
through and
He's
make
just
a
raw,
play. That
and
time,
I don't think he should
nice
be a
play
number
by the
one guy
defensive
or even a
player.
number 2
Now it's
corner
fourth
day
down
one.
for the offense.
I think he should sit and develop. Kind of the same goes for Mackenzie Alexander,
Football away.
but it's more in the fact that he is talented. He just doesn't have the stats to show it. He hasn't shown that he can use that talent to the fullest of its capabilities. And, I mean, that's my biggest issue.
And the fair catch is made by Brown.
In pretty much every safety, I think that all the safeties are second-round
The
picks.
Steelers offense preparing to get this
So,
drive underway.
that's
Their
that.
last drive actually ended in a touchdown, Phil.
Fair.
We'll see if
So,
they still have it in them.
overall,
To issue a
I
repeat
think Pittsburgh
performance.
Well, what
pretty
you
much
saw
got
in that
this one.
last
So,
drive was
for now,
everything just came
this is
together
J-Wack.
perfectly for him. The experience of the football team, the talent of the
Signing
players,
off.
and the coaches helped them out. They got it done.